Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today I want to talk about open carry, but more specifically, open carry holster choices. Now, this is kind of all coming from some Instagram and Facebook posts that I've been making about my open carry experience and stuff like that, reading the comments, replying to people, and seeing what everybody has to say. Now, I was born and raised in California, and up until really not that long ago, open carry was legal, even though it was kind of a neutered form of open carry where you actually couldn't carry open and loaded. You had to have your firearm on one side, a loaded magazine on the other side, and then I suppose if something happens, if you were really quick, you might be able to get to your firearm, load it, and rack it. But nonetheless, it was a neutered form of open carry in California, and now there's none. So moving to Nevada, in Nevada, you can open carry. Open carry is legal everywhere. One of the big questions that a lot of people have is it legal on the Strip? And yes, the Strip is just a road. You have to try and remember that. The Strip isn't a private property that's located between 1 mile marker and another mile marker. Okay, the Strip is simply a street, okay, with public sidewalks. And so yes, you can open carry on the Strip in Las Vegas. I don't think a lot of people know that. Anyway, coming from California to Nevada, I had my Utah non-resident concealed carry permit. I had to update my address. Well, when you update your address, they have to send you a new card. So I was under the assumption that I could not conceal carry until I got that new card. After I talked to a woman earlier today, she said, no, you could still use your old card and conceal carry in Nevada until you get your new one. That's perfectly fine. So I've been open carrying this entire time. So open carrying has been an experience, especially somebody coming from a state where you don't see people open carrying. And if somebody's seen with a gun in a holster on a sidewalk or something like that, there's this massive police presence that immediately shows up, and likely that the person's going to go to jail. You have to be active law enforcement or security working on the job, stuff like that. You can't just be a regular everyday Joe. So the type of response that you can get in California versus Nevada is 100% different. But still, since I've been concealed carrying, I've noticed some things, okay? I've noticed some holster choices and people walking around with things that to me just feel completely unsafe. And it's not just unsafe, but for people who are unaware, it could be potentially deadly for them. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you guys some examples of things that I've seen since moving to Nevada where open carry is legal. I've seen people carrying Glocks and SIGs in outside the waistband holsters like Kydex holsters with absolutely no retention. I've seen people with appendix carry holsters on the outside on their sweatpants, drawstring sweatpants with no belt or anything like that sitting on their side. I've seen older gentlemen with 1911s in leather holsters, again with no retention whatsoever, just kind of sitting on their side. And one of the worst things that I've seen, and this is probably from a majority of the people, is a complete lack of situational awareness, okay? These people are walking around, and I'm not talking about everybody. I have seen some people out there wearing quality holsters who know what's going on. They have their head up, they're looking forward, they're not staring at their cell phone. But I have seen a lot of these guys who are wearing just a standard Kydex holster outside the waistband with something in it, and they'll be on their phone 40, 50 yards through a parking lot. They'll stay on their phone while they grab their keys. They'll get their keys, they'll go to the door, they'll unlock their car door, open their car door, and get in without ever even knowing what was going on, other than that little tiny area where they're staring at their cell phone. Or maybe they're talking to somebody, they're walking their dog and just staring at I mean, these people never even look up, and it just kills me. So there's obvious advantages and disadvantages to both open carrying and concealed carrying. One of the disadvantages to open carrying is that everybody knows you have a firearm. So, there's no element of surprise there, right? You're letting everybody know, I'm armed. Well, these people that are carrying without any type of retention are saying, I'm armed, I'm not paying attention. And guess what? It makes them really easy targets for somebody who, A, wants to steal a firearm, because it's really easy to steal something you can just take like that. And it makes you a victim, because once they steal your firearm, they can also rob you, kill you, or whatever else they want to do, right? So there needs to be a certain level of awareness if open carry is your choice. Now, again, today, like I said, we're going to talk about holster selection, but still, I want to talk about some of the issues and the problems that I've seen. So again, there's no situational awareness. Now, when you're open carrying and you have a holster on, the holster is just there to protect the trigger. It's there to hold the firearm securely to your body. If you don't have a belt on, it's not going to do that. The chances are you're going to pull out your gun, the holster is going to come with it, and that's going to take precious seconds away that you're going to be able to take time to fix that problem, right? So again, beyond having the proper mindset, you also have to have the proper equipment. Okay, so here are the two holsters and the two pistols that I've been carrying primarily here since moving to Nevada. Now, there are a lot of differences between these two holsters, but there's one thing that's the same, and this is the one thing that's missing from a lot of people that I see open carrying, and I think those people don't really understand exactly how important this is. Basically, what we have here is level 1 retention for both of these holsters. That means that unlike a standard Kydex holster, where you would take the firearm, you have a holster that's maybe been pressed or formed to fit that firearm perfectly, and so it kind of uses friction to grab onto the trigger guard, or maybe some type of mold shape, something like that. You put the firearm in and it's simply that friction or the mold shape that holds the firearm in place. But if you're open carrying and somebody comes up behind you, there's nothing to stop them from simply grabbing that and pulling it right out of the holster, and now you're the victim, okay? So obviously, open carrying, you're leaving yourself exposed. Do you really want yourself exposed and then have your firearm stripped from you when you're not paying attention or somebody comes up behind you? That's why I think it's honestly, and I'm not playing around here, it's imperative that you have some type of retention. If you're one of those guys who's carrying a 1911 in a leather holster, just get a leather holster that has a button or a clip, at least something that goes over it, where if somebody comes up, maybe you'll feel that jerk so that you can knock their hand away and move away from the person. Draw your firearm, obviously, because they're trying to take your firearm from you. But at the same point, give yourself at least that extra second to be able to react to somebody taking it. So this right here is a Safariland holster. Very nice ALS holster, automatic locking system. And so what happens is when I take my firearm and I put it in here, it locks it automatically, okay? I don't have to do anything. This thing's not coming out. It's not going anywhere. That means if I have this on my hip and I'm walking around on the sidewalk, somebody comes running up from behind me, I'm caught off guard, they grab it like this, they're not getting that thing out. It gives me enough time to be able to react. I think a lot of people are really worried about the threat coming from the front, right? They're sitting somewhere, they're eating lunch, they're walking down the sidewalk, here comes somebody, they're gonna rob you, they're gonna assault you, and so you have to defend yourself, and you have this thing set in your mind where, you know, you're gonna be able to react and draw your firearm in this perfect scenario and everything's gonna work out great. When in reality, the bad guy sees you have a gun, he sees you walking down the street, and his mind is thinking about, how advantageous is this to me? You know, can I go ahead and can I grab that? Does it look like this guy's a big enough threat where I'm not going to be able to grab it? I mean, these bad guys think about things for at least a little bit first. And if he runs up and grabs it and it's not coming out of this thing, so this right here is a Blackhawk T-Series holster, also level 1 retention. These are both used with a switch or a button on the back. So the T-Series has this little lever that you would push on the back right here. The Safariland has this little lever in the back that's activated by your thumb. So each one has level 1 retention, okay? Now, either way, if he goes and tries to grab it and he can't pull it out of the holster and I turn towards him, I mean, there's a good chance this guy's booking it anyway. But it's not going to be that perfect dream scenario where, you know, you are going to be this hero where the situation sets itself up perfectly. It's probably going to be total chaos. Everything's going to happen in a matter of a second or 2 seconds, and you're going to have to access that firearm. Whether it's something that happens behind you or in front of you, you want to give yourself the best possible advantage. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people who want to know about my experience carrying here in Las Vegas, because it is an experience, especially when you come from a state that doesn't allow open carrying. I mean, I was nervous the first time that I open carried. I felt like I was getting eyeballs from every single direction, and, you know, my head was on a permanent swivel. So, you know, it's one of those things where you kind of ease into it if you come from a background like mine. But I got to tell you, people here in Nevada have been pretty receptive. I have had like a 99% positive rate from people. People that I've met so far just want to talk about the holster. They want to talk about the firearm. Maybe they're concealed carrying, which is a lot of the people that I meet are concealed carrying. They want to know what ammunition you're using, and they want to know just, you know, they just want to talk. A lot of people here are just gun people. I mean, they're open to the idea of being able to defend yourself. Now, even though Las Vegas is kind of a transient town, meaning that people come from all parts of the globe to live here and all parts of the United States to live here for whatever opportunity has presented itself to them. But now that they're here and they see that the culture is different, even though there are people that bring their left-leaning ideas here, for the most part, the community has been fantastic. Everybody's been really supportive. They see you, you don't really get the glances, and it's a lot more accepted because people open carry here. And so when you see somebody open carrying, it doesn't cause that stir that might happen in a state that's a lot more restrictive. So you don't get those glances that you might elsewhere. Now, the people that do give you those glances, you can tell they're kind of, you know, those left-leaning type, and, you know, not super happy about the fact that you're open carrying, but still, for the most part, they keep their mouth shut about it and they just go on about their day. They might be triggered a little bit later, but they don't bug you about it. I have not been stopped by the police, not once. I haven't had anybody call the police on me for carrying a firearm down the street or anything like that. It's all been really good. So, I mean, I've been carrying for months now, open carrying, just about every single day, and I have not had any issues. For the most part, just fun interactions, meeting other people who enjoy carrying concealed or open as well. So it's been a pretty good thing. And like I said before, yeah, you can carry on the strip. That's, you know, from everything that I've read, I'm still doing a lot of research on Nevada firearms laws and stuff like that. So always make sure that you do your own research as well. But yeah, it's just been a great experience. So people in Nevada and Nevada residents have really been awesome about the whole concept of open carry. But now that I know I can conceal carry, guarantee you this holster right here is going to go with my other holsters, and I'm going to start concealed carrying because I do think the advantages of concealed carrying far outweigh those of open carrying. But if you don't have a choice to do one or the other, if you have a choice to do one or the other, I would at least choose one of them. Okay, I wouldn't choose not to be armed rather than to, you know, just walk out of the house with nothing. So I would always choose to be armed. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I know this video kind of ran on a little bit, but these are my observations, some things that bother me, some things I think people really need to think about. And if you're thinking about open carrying, maybe, you know, it planted a seed in your head as well. So thank you again very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.